So usually I film in front of my wardrobe, and I've put a poster up here, and now I don't know where I'm supposed to film. One of the unique oddities of the internet is the idea of abandonment. When a physical location gets abandoned, it tends to be left to rot and will eventually degrade to nature with enough time. Whereas websites only sort of do that. We like to think that digital information will last forever. That's what our infinitely cringy Facebook posts from 2010 seem to suggest. But in reality, websites do degrade with time. Formatting breaks, links stop working, pages get scrambled, and eventually server hosting just goes down. But digital information doesn't degrade, it just vanishes. So you're left to extrapolate what is missing rather than seeing the remains of what is there. Today I want to tell the story of one such website, what happened to it, what there's left to see, and just have a general gander. Project Planet Bioia was from around the turn of the decade. The copyright on the information lists 2019, but that's most likely just automatically been updated by the website's hosting. Based on context clues and a couple of uploads from a YouTube channel, I would put at best this website was last touched around Q1 2012. In fact, the last explicit date I can find to do with the website is August 2011, where the final YouTube video was uploaded. Project Planet Bioia was a rather ambitious attempt to crowdsource the writing of a fictional encyclopedia. The lore of the website, told primarily through difficult-to-navigate subpages and the website's YouTube channel, is that in the year 2987, humans have trashed the planet beyond usability, similar to Wall-E. After a decade-long journey, they go to the nearby star Eos and find the planet Bioia, which is a fully inhabited Earth-like planet with its own fauna, flora, geography, and history. Its own primary species, the Acroans, are very technologically advanced, even far beyond the humans at the time, but are peace-loving and welcoming. When they first arrive, the Acroans send up to the humans an encyclopedia of their entire history, everything that needs to be known about their planet. And that's what the project is. The goal of this project was for users to submit their fictional entries into this encyclopedia, cataloguing various elements of the planet, with the eventual goal being that they would all be packaged together into a physical book that would be sold, with all the profits going to various charities. The website lists an 85% split towards environmental charities and 15% split going to NASA and spacefaring charities, which I'm not sure are a thing, but oh well. The website would be periodically updated with some example entries and various particularly high-quality entries that had come in from users to serve as inspiration or things you could build your own entries upon. And I would like to read one of these pre-sample entries for you to give you a good gauge of the level of quality that these entries were on. Let it be known that this has taken like 6 takes because the name of this plant is really hard to say. The Micurylondostus can be found in the plains of Lilethra. It is often found quite far away from other Micurylondostus. This makes it interesting because there are so few. The species has continued to survive. The Micurylondostus is similar to flowers on Earth and often has 5 large blue petals that droop and touch the ground. It stands about 7 inches tall and the stem is unusually white, rather than the green plants found on Earth and other parts of Bioia. It often thrives without sunlight and is usually located under the shade of large trees or the occasional rock. Finally, at night, a yellow dotted ring that glows brightly appears on each petal. If picked at night, the flower will leak a fluid causing it to freeze and will glow up to an Earth week. Drink in that storytelling. This kind of mass-produced crowdsourced world building for the sake of world building is interesting but not necessarily unique. The SCP Foundation is the one that I think most people would recognise, and it would not surprise me if the creator was at least a little bit inspired by that project, considering it predates PPB by about 2 years. That website has a high standard, very strictly enforced quality control, and a user base that is really dedicated to keeping it pure. PPB did not have those things. Because of the website's age and general lack of care, it's really difficult to navigate nowadays. Not just because it takes 15 seconds to load any individual page, but because the website's homepage is just straight up not there anymore. Fortunately, the sidebar still works for most intents and purposes, and the search engine is still there even if it is tortuously long at times. In theory, you can still make a new account, but in reality the captcha refuses to load if you try and do it, meaning that unless you want to just guess at random words for all of eternity, all the user-specific content is pretty much lost to history at this point. When I had an account back in the day, I remember it not really amounting to much. It only really gave you an archive of the entries you submitted, and you can submit entries anonymously, so you don't really lose much. But it is sad to see that that side is gone.
Hi, so this is Editing Bradley. I say that you can submit things anonymously because I'm 100% sure that while I was scouting around the website the first time, I managed to get to the submission page. I somehow managed to glitch the website into letting me submit that one time, which is possible.
Because of the amateur or tourism of the whole website, it leads to having a pretty inconsistent tone. I'd actually identify one of the root problems being that the fictional aliens, the Acroans, are purported to have their own native language and writing system, but no rules were ever really laid out for how that system works. So it ends up sounding very inconsistent to have English language paragraphs with random words thrown in that sound like they were just randomly generated. And if that sounds cruel, let it be known that the website's help feature does in fact link to a random word generator. Combine that problem with the general tone problems that comes from letting your users have their own usernames, and you get to some interesting juxtapositions. Over time, the general geography of the country was plotted, and 3 major cities have been founded: Aradala in the southeast, Tritsusho in the northern forests, and Tekyucho in the western deserts. Aradala gained power due to its fertile terrain, and later became the capital of the country. Submitted by Chimp Skylark. The entry for the country on Lilithra is arguably the highest quality piece of material on the website, since it seems to have been QA'd probably by Chimp Skylark himself. There are a few dozen other entries on the website, some of which have usernames attached, and some of which have some pretty blatant spelling errors. It's interesting because that means that PPB wasn't a complete failure. While it never went through to the end, it's clear that some people found this website, and even some people interested enough to really give it a go. If this was done a little bit earlier or later in the internet's history, it could have potentially taken off. This leads to PPB having at best an inconsistent level of effort put into it. There are problems as blatant as trying to list 5 things and forgetting to list the 4th one, but the website is laid out pretty intuitively, and the submission feature is actually fairly fleshed out. Elements such as extensive guidelines, histories, suggestions and rules show that there was quite a bit of forethought put into it. In fact, there are a couple of pretty interesting things, such as a guide for how teachers could incorporate Project Planet Bioia into their school lessons, which is the kind of effort that you wouldn't think a complete nobody would do. Overall, it seems that the person who made this was really planning for the future in a way that gave it at least a little bit more bite than some project some kid would have come up with. I actually submitted an entry for this website back in the day. It never made it onto the website, unfortunately, but it did actually get acknowledged by the creator. I submitted an outline for the Ale star system. It listed out all the planets, their moons, what order they were in, orbital patterns, even dates and years. I went into a pretty decent amount of detail, in fact, too much detail. The creator emailed me back saying that it seemed like I was trying to muscle in on quite a lot of turf, listing out so many planets and orbital bodies, and suggested that I potentially should put similar effort into focusing on just one planet, and that would have gotten me in. Naturally, being a mature and grown-up 13-year-old at the time, I took great offence to this very reasonable assessment of what I was trying to do, and proceeded to ignore the website for the rest of time. I won't read out any more of the entries on the website. There's a couple more, and they're pretty much the quality that I've outlined that they are. But the website is virus-free, and as long as you're happy having a bit of a slow time navigating it, you can go find it yourself. A couple of the entries, such as the one for the country Maria, the formatting is broken because of a poorly implemented YouTube video. Maybe it wasn't poor at the time, but it's poorly implemented now. But you can copy and paste the text into a text editor if you want to read it that way. Unfortunately, in this world we live in, ambition doesn't equal success. And Project Planet Bioia failed to make a splash in the world of ecological preservation. I went on a bit of a quest to find out everything I could about this for preparation for this video, and scoured all the other websites that I could think of it could have been posted, and found almost nothing. It has never once been mentioned on Twitter or Reddit. The website does in fact try to link to a Facebook page, but that Facebook page has been lost to time for a while now. The website does have a YouTube channel, which I am the proud 6th subscriber of, loaded with various trailers, history videos, and a couple of prime quality 240p original CG animations, which are just beautiful. But most bizarrely of all, I found a reference to Project Planet Bioia in a very unique location. An online study guide stroke psychology textbook lists Project Planet Bioia as one of the wrong answers to a multiple choice question, which is inexplicable, but is potentially my favourite thing about this whole website. Using one of the error messages that the website threw up, I managed to find what I believed was the original creator's online handle. I did a bit of searching with that and eventually tracked down their Vimeo page, which is the first time in history someone has been excited to see a Vimeo page. There was no explicit reference to PPB, but there were a couple of CG animations that generally matched up with the profile of the kind of person who'd make this. Through that, I eventually found their personal website and a direct email address. I won't say it here to prevent him from being spammed because this is the internet, but I've dropped him an email explaining my intention and saying that I would like to ask him a few questions about PPB, and I'll keep you in the loop about what happens there. But before this video ends, there was no way I could have done this video without writing my proposal for an entry into the Project Planet Bioia Encyclopedia. Enjoy. The Queldamox are a species of small, 8-winged butterflies that live on the northeastern coastline of Mardia. They are notable for their unique configurations of colours on their wings. The wings are asymmetrically coloured, with colours ranging from vibrant reds, blues, pinks and browns. Early Mardian scientists noticed these patterns, and due to the Queldamox's short gestation periods, were able to breed them in captivity and catalogued the lineage of colour schemes to try and find patterns. These early pioneers of biology not only contributed greatly to the discovery of genetics, but led to some interesting observations in the world of mathematics. As we know now, Queldamox can only have a prime number of wings of a particular colour. This is why on Bioia, 1 is often called the Demox prime, as it is not typically considered part of the prime numbers by mathematicians, but the Queldamox will frequently only have 1 wing of a particular colour. Buy my book. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I'm not going to tell you to like, comment and subscribe, because I don't want you to like, comment and subscribe. What I want you to do is to go to the Project Planet Bioia trailer video, like, comment and subscribe to that channel. Because if we can get that video to even 100 likes, I will, on the table, 50 quid to an ecological preservation society. So you've got to do it now. I have another video that is pretty much scripted, because I'm the least consistent YouTuber in the world. That should be coming soon. Also, at some point this summer, I'm going to be on the Bartians podcast. So my goal is to have a video ready to be uploaded at the same time as that. So you are definitely getting at least 1 more video this year. And maybe a follow-up if the PPP guy gets back to me. Yep. Have a good day. You go back to shower?
No,
Okay, I was going to say. So I'm only don't leave like 20 more minutes, so you can shower after that.
that's fine.
Cool.